Hi all, here's an example of how to calculate the mean and standard deviation for a discrete random variable. So this example is related to lottery winning and the probability of how much you will win from lottery. So here, this 0.992 represents 99.2% of the time you would lose the $10 you actually paid for the lottery ticket, and half of a percentage of the time you win $100 minus the $10 you spent on the ticket. Here are the two formulas that we'll be using for the mean and standard deviation. And again, these formulas you should probably write down because we'll be using them a lot. So if we're going to calculate the mean first, we should calculate the mean since we know that the standard deviation involves the mean. So we're going to make a column of x times p of x. And for this, all we have to do is put an equal sign, and Excel reads it as a formula. We click 990 times 0.001, and we set enter. Now you can calculate it for each one. You can do the same thing and put an equal sign, or you can actually just, it fills it for you. If you find the little cursor, it's like an X, and then drag down. Okay, so now we have the x times p of x, but we see that it's actually the sum of all these. So we can sum them all up by hand, or there's a button called autofill. You want to make sure that they actually highlight all the ones that you want to sum, and you push enter. So we get a negative, which is okay, because on average, this is saying if we do the lottery over and over again, you would expect to lose money. And more likely or not, most people lose money from the lottery, which makes sense. Okay, so now for calculating the standard deviation. First, we need to take all of the x's and subtract by mu and square the whole subtraction, and then times by p of x. And this is the sum of all of that. Then the whole sum gets square rooted. So let's make a column. We're going to say x minus mu square, and then times p of x. So in this thing, we're going to do parentheses. We have 9, sorry, we forgot the equal sign, equals, because it reads it as a formula, x, not p of x yet. So 990 minus mu, which is negative 7.5. So we can just go ahead and add that because it's a subtraction. So minus and a subtraction makes it plus. So we're just going to say 7.5. Square that and times it by p of x. Push enter. So we can go ahead and drag that down. And again, we can sum all these. Sorry, auto sum. Make sure everything's highlighted and push enter. So now this is the variance, if we remember, because the standard deviation squared is the variance, and we know that we need to square root this. So now let's square root it to get our standard deviation. So if we put the equal sign, SQRT, this, the variance, squared. So this is our standard deviation. So that concludes how to find the mean and the standard deviation in Excel.